How do we determine the market value of your property? Hey, it's Maria Quattrone. Good morning this morning. And one of the questions that we get at Maria Quattrone and Associates is, how do we determine the market value of a home? I'm going to use a home versus land or a commercial property because that's a different way we determine value. On land, commercial, mixed use, we use a different formula for that. So this is about how we determine the price of your home. A lot of times I get, oh my God, I saw on Zillow, I used the Zestimate. I can tell you right now that the Zestimate is a seller's worst enemy. And here's why. I'll give you a classic example in Philadelphia, why this is the absolute worst way to see what the value of your home is. And that is because when they're looking at the estimate, the algorithm, in Philadelphia, we have 2-story homes next to 3-story homes, next to 4-story homes, next to 4-story homes that have been converted into condos. And now that 4-story home has 5 condos in it, and they're all 800 to 1,000 square feet. And the Zestimate is all confused because the value of those properties in one single block, we have from $300,000 to $1.8 million on one block. How can a Zestimate know what the price is? This happens time and time and time again. And we have conversation. If the Zestimate was true, you don't need us. You really don't need us to price the property. And I can tell you that there is no seller that is an expert in pricing their property. Nobody is an expert at pricing the property, especially the person that owns it. Because remember last week, I talked about the attachment, the emotional attachment to the property. When we can detach ourselves and we're a third party, then we're able to look at things objectively. And some of the things that we use when looking at the pricing of a home objectively, well, number one, what is the condition of the property? Where does it fall on a scale from 1 to 10? 1 being cannot live in it, 10 being brand new construction. So that's the first thing we look at. And then how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how many square feet? Does it have a finished basement? Is there a fireplace? Is there central air? What's the condition of the bathroom and kitchen? When were the last time they were renovated, right? What does the block look like? Is it a nice block? This affects the value. Listen to this carefully. Is there a barking dog next door or behind the property that could be not a very nice dog? It could be this dog barks all day long. And believe it or not, that will affect the price of a property. Who's on the block, meaning who's hanging out during the day, at night, in the morning? Is there any little stores that are on the corner where people gather? All of these things determine, can you park on the block, or is it a block that you can't park on? And I'm talking mainly, about homes in Philadelphia because that's where we are. So can you park on the block? Is there parking on your street at all? So there's a wonderful house that a client looked at, and that house ended up getting more money than it should have because it was in West Mount Airy, because you could not park on that street at all. So the only people that could park on that street, well, they couldn't, but the only ones that actually could are the people that live there. And there's probably they're really pretty big houses. They were set on about an acre each. So maybe there were 6 on the block, if that. So that would command more money than the comps would actually show. And the reverse also works. That house may not get more money because of this situation. So when we're looking at what the value of a home is, there is so many things that have to be taken into consideration. How many homes are on the market in that neighborhood right now in that price range? Let's just say that there's 10 houses on the market in this particular area between 5 and 600,000. Let's say there's 10. And only 1.5, how does 0.5, get that in a second, sell a month? And then the next month, we're only seeing one sell a month because we're taking the 12-month aggregate and we are looking at it from that standpoint of how many absorb in a month. So let's just say now we're at one per month and there's 10 on the market. Only one is going under contract. That means that it could take 10 months to absorb the current amount of inventory in that particular neighborhood without any other homes actually coming on the market. That is extremely important when pricing a home. We need to see what the absorption rate is. Because if there's 20 houses on the market and only 2 are selling a month, that's 10 months to sell your home without any other homes coming on the market. Okay? And then the other thing is, how quickly are they going under contract? Nothing is selling. Very, very, very few homes are selling today 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. Our days on market in some areas have increased to 80 days to 66 days. So to think that anybody can actually get a house sold quicker than that, unless is priced under market to create demand in the marketplace. Okay? When sellers want to move a property and be able to get the highest price, we list it under market value. That attracts more buyers, and more buyers attract more offers. We can get more offers when we are priced just under where it should be, just a tiny bit under, because then the buyer said, that's a good opportunity. Let me go take a look at that. But the problem is when you're pricing a property and you're emotionally involved in the pricing of it, then everything becomes cluttered. And you can look at numbers and make them see whatever you want, especially if you're using Zillow, if you're using the Zestimate. The Zestimate was the worst thing designed for sellers and for us real estate agents. Absolutely worst thing. It couldn't have been a worse idea. Now, if you're in a subdivision and every single house is cookie cutter and they were the same and they were built back in 1982 and there's 500 of them, and the only difference is if you have granite or carpet or quartz or a finished basement in your house, it's a little bit different. But in Philadelphia, our houses are not like that. In fact, our pricing differs and the inventory changes block to block. You could literally be on a great block and 1 or 2 blocks over be in not a great block. And pricing is a lot different. It's a lot different. You really need to understand the neighborhoods. You need a broker that knows the catchment. Like there's a big difference between on Bainbridge Street, which is, I'm here in the office right now. So Bainbridge Street's the street behind us. And there's Cater, then there's Bainbridge. And on the north side of Bainbridge, we're in Greenfield. And on the south side of Bainbridge, it's not Greenfield catchment. The difference in pricing is at least $100,000. $100,000 on the same block. That's how important it is to look at every single dynamic when pricing a property. In fact, in our office, now I'm not the main one who looks at all of the pricing, but I do. What we do is this. We actually have our main listing partner, which is Sarah, and we have some other listing partners as well in our company. But let's just use this example. Dara does the numbers, and she will ask me, do me a favor, run the numbers on this property. I run the numbers, and we do not tell each other. Okay? This is when the comps are difficult to find because there's not a lot of sales and it's just a problem. We write the number on a piece of paper. We write it on a piece of paper and then we turn the paper around. And I'd say 9.5s out of 10, we're within $10,000 of each other. And sometimes we're right on the same mark. So Dara's been doing this for 30 years. I'm in it for 18. take what we do very seriously. I take your property very seriously and pricing it accurately so you make the most money out of it. Okay. Some other factors when selling a property and pricing is how amenable are the sellers to being open to feedback? Because we can't help somebody who doesn't want to be helped. How amenable are you open to hearing the truth? It's extremely, extremely important, because in our company, if it doesn't sell, we don't make any money. We actually lose a ton of money. Every property costs us between, just off out of the gate, between $1,000 and $2,000 to get on the market. So that's without any additional things that we have to do. And I might even be light on that number. But it's extremely important. I mean, we have a lot of skin in the game, a lot of time in the game, and we want the sale to be successful. So we're only going to tell you the truth, no matter what it is. Even if you don't want to hear it, we're still going to tell you that. That's one of the things I would say in the last 18 years is that telling the truth and having integrity is the number one thing that has caused my success. The number one thing. You know what? People might not like it and they might actually be mad at me, but that's okay, because I know I did the right thing at the end of the day. And what does this have to do with pricing? It has everything to do with pricing. It has everything to do with pricing. Because if you can't get the truth from somebody and really get down to what it is, then we could actually cost you more money later. Because if the market isn't going like this, and it's not, by the way, and it's going like this, and if you don't price right, you're chasing the market down. So let's do the thing. Let's do the right thing right now. And let's make sure we're pricing it at a price that we're going to be able to attract the most buyers. Oh, and this is the other thing I wanted to bring up this morning. We are not Walmart. We do not price on $429,900. Why? Because no buyer searches $429,900. Every single buyer, including you, search on a price break point. What does that mean? That means we search on the fives and zeros. Okay, I'll go up to 450. I'll go up to 400. I'll go up to 375. I'll go up to $1 million. I don't want to be over 1.5. I want to be 300 or under. Nobody prices. If you list at 305 or 309 and somebody's high is 300, you're not getting all the buyers. So at 309, you missed anybody that goes up to 300. And I guarantee that price shouldn't be 309. It should probably be in the high twos, because every single person wants to list their house more than it's actually worth. And I get this as well. Well, we want to leave room to negotiate. You know how many properties we've been able to negotiate the best price for that the market will bear? Many, many, many thousands, because we priced them right to attract the most number of buyers. And we didn't have to do a lot of coming downwards in our price in order to get the deal done, because the buyers saw the value. They saw the value based on the condition, based on location, based on everything else that's going on in that neighborhood. You know, if you're in a busy neighborhood with like big streets maybe around you, or, you know, you're right off a highway, it's going to be a little bit harder to sell that type of property, for sure. So all these things are super important. I want to leave you this with today. I didn't have my coffee yet, so I want to leave you with this today. Make sure that you're coming out of the gate with the right price for your home, and we can get you there. And if you're not local in the area, I can refer you to somebody that will. So with that, throw the Zestimate out the door. Do not use the Zestimate. And I wish you a beautiful, beautiful day. Take care, everybody. Oh, and if you have any comments, drop them below, DM me, and I will get back with you. I look forward to it. Make it a great one.